Hi there, it's Annalisa, and I'm making a video for you to look at the maps with me and see where there would be some good locations possibly for putting out some cameras in your search for your kitty cat. So I've been studying the map here. I'm going to zoom into a couple of locations that from a distance they look like they are good places to look at. Keep in mind that I'm going on, this is a Google map and it says it's from 2025, but you don't know, things can change very quickly, so it might not look the same when we go to street views. But looking at where we're at right now, I have a couple of recommendations, and I'm looking at green spaces. I'm looking at areas that would be maybe your cat's territory, but on the outskirts of that or outside of your cat's territory. And I'm also looking at ease of access, where you're going to be able to get to, because I can say, oh, that's a great place to put a camera, but if it's in somebody's front yard, it's going to be a challenge to make that happen. So I'm going to give you, I think I figured out 3 or 4 recommended locations, and I would recommend, if you have just one camera, starting with placing it in one of the locations, leave it, it has to be there for at least 4 days, and before moving it, and some people would argue even longer. Okay, so I'm going to start just, this is in a random order. The first place I'm going to say is at the church that's on North Chickasaw Trail on the same side that you are. It looks like the Central Christian Renunciation Church. And when I go to this location and I go into the very, very far back left corner, this corner here has, it seems like, some debris piles. It's back by the fence. This would be an excellent place to put a camera with some food and leave it there for a couple of days and see what activity you get. I like, this is one of my favorite locations based on studying the map, because it has cover for your camera, but it also is onto a big open space, which makes it better for the animals to smell the lure, a little bit of kitty cat food or whatever in front of the camera that you want to put out. And I'm just going to scroll around here. These really open areas, like along this fence, those aren't good because people can see your cameras, they can see you coming and messing around with it. But if you just pull your car back here, park back here, maybe you do it on a Sunday, so there's a lot of cars back here. I don't know how friendly these people are or not, but this would be my first recommendation of a camera location. The second location I want to bring to your attention is all the way down here, which is, let's see what street, Niagara Falls Court. This is the dead end of Niagara Falls Court, so it's in the opposite direction. And I like this location at the dead end. In particular, I like here where there's brush. There's also a drainage pipe here. Sometimes the cats will figure out going in and out here. And I feel like because there's not a house directly there, you can have a good chance of hiding the camera a little bit in the bushes and not having it be seen by the neighbors. So I'm going to just do a 360 around here so you can see. This is the dead end of Niagara Falls Court. See how many bushes there are that you could potentially put a camera between or hide, but I try to get it as close to this drainage pipe as possible. So looking at the map from a little bit of a further distance, so that would be one location here by this church and one location down here further in this direction. So that would be 2 good locations for you to consider. Now, I'm curious about how deep the little waterway is here between your neighborhood and Salem Drive and Reagan Avenue. I agree with you that the Sam's Club is like really not realistic that much, but it's worth monitoring for sure. It's not 6 miles away, right? So it is within that reason. I moved the map to North Chickasaw Trail. I know you're talking about being wary if he would actually cross Chickasaw and how busy of streets he would cross. What caught my eye is right here, this drainage pipe. So, it might come out right here, but these pipes, you don't know if there's an exit that would go under the street and take him across. I will say this, I noticed there's a nursery, and nurseries are very attractive to cats when they're displaced or when they go missing, because there's a lot of hiding places. There's people, but they're not, like, they're there to work. They're not bothering if there's a stray cat on the property. So I'm wondering if you've given them flyers. I'm wondering if they're friendly or amiable to putting up a sign on their fence, or potentially there was a telephone pole, but here it looks like another fence. Maybe you could ask them about putting a sign there. And I'm also wondering, I know we want to be aware of people's privacy and with the cameras, but businesses like this might actually have security cameras. So that's another thing, is asking them if they can look on the cameras or if they ever get animal movement and that sort of thing. So that's not really a location for a camera, but those are a couple things I just wanted to point out as I'm studying and looking at the map. I mean, you definitely could hide a camera back in one of these overflow ditches, but you just would have to, if the rain's predicted, you'd have to go pick it up. So that would be another. I don't like doing them right next to the street, so you'd probably, let's take a look at this one. So you'd do it more to this side here. See, so there's one there. It probably goes under the street, I would imagine. So that would be how a cat would cross without crossing the street physically. So yeah, the nursery, that's a place for sure to contact. Okay. I was also looking at the actual end of your street, and this area here, the dead end, does, this is an appealing area with the sewer system, with this overgrown area. It looks like there's some houses back there. It's hard to tell if you'd be able to come in and out. Maybe you'd be able to put a camera back here behind the trees. I don't know how, and if this looks like that's a driveway, so how often that is being accessed. Those would be variables to consider about putting a camera down in this direction. So this is the dead end of Napoleon, and I'm basically just looking for, where are places that you can hide cameras, where are places that animals are going to be traversing, and where are places that you can easily access. I know you had a possible sighting on Napoleon. You didn't think it was a match, but putting a camera back here looks like you probably could hide it somewhere along the plants or even around the hedge. It depends. You might have to go to these houses, see if they're vacant, see if people, they might have security cameras. So that would be another place to check out, but it wouldn't be I would still like the other ones before this one. So those are the locations I would start with for cameras, and that covers a good amount of area. If you do the one up at the church and do the one down below you, or possibly at the end of Napoleon, that gives you good coverage basically in this area here. So if you had 2 cameras, you would do them both for 4 to 7 days. If you have one, you'd put it 4 to 7 days at the church and then move it 4 to 7 days down the street. And I'm wondering, there's a dog training and boarding place. I wonder if they have security cameras. That might be another option for you. So that's my feedback. You're doing a great job. I thank you for keeping me updated with all of the developments that you've had, and good job with continuing with expanding your witness development. So when you put the cameras at these first locations, and then when you get sightings, then you can take the camera and move it to the sighting if you're not having any luck with that location. So you're able to keep the cameras in play. I do want to encourage you not to bug the cameras too much. If you can set them up and leave them for maybe a couple of nights and then check them, that's better than checking them incessantly or a couple times a day. We want to give them time to work, and let me know what develops. Thank you. Feel free to reach out any other questions.